Hey, hello everyone. How are you? Hey, what's up, brother? Hey, Tani. Hi, Chris. Hi, Sven. Hi, Luke. All right, guys. How are you? I just want to make sure that you can actually see my screen and you can listen to me. Yes, you can. Hey, hola, Alex. Hola, José Luis. Yes, you can. All right. All right. Okay. No. This chat is delayed like 10-second, guys. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. I hope that it doesn't mess with us today. Let's see what happens today. All right. Okay. What is this? Okay. 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 So, okay. So, guys, today is gonna be kind of special. I have different setup. As you can see, I'm not on my regular place. At my parents in Mexico, in Monterrey. And I'm using my laptop here. I'm using my AirBots. So everything is different today. Everything is different today. So I just hope that it works well, that you can actually listen to me very well. And this laptop it's running slow because this software for the streaming it's called OBS. So it's running a little bit slow. I'm also running a little bit slow because of uh, I'm spending long nights here because every time I come to Mexico I spend time with my parents with my sisters. Today is my little sister birthday. So we stayed at midnight to sing happy birthday and all the stuff. So I'm running slow, a little bit slow today, but it doesn't matter. It's gonna be okay. So let's go to our charts, guys. So let me change this. Oh, uh, this is the one. And I have another something else to tell you. I wasn't usually when we start these sessions, I'm already prepared with some long or short positions and all that stuff. But today I had a business meeting this morning and I couldn't prepare too much of this. So let's do it. Let's do it live. Let's do it live. So what we have on the indices this morning. So this morning we had a small drop right to key levels here on SPY and QQQ, and then it had they had this bounce, this really nice bounce. And the thing I'm gonna talk about a second Tesla trade. I know some of you took the Tesla trade while it held the 350 key level. That was a super strong key level, nice trade. But there was a second chance there, and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Well, let's see first Apple. So Apple here, we have this drop at the open. Then it rejected a few times this opening price. Can you see here? This opening price was rejected. I really like it, but I don't trust Apple, so Uh, I I even wasn't watching it. But as you can see here, we have a nice break and and retest of this 198.23. This is a key level. I'm gonna show you here. Give me 1 second. Remember, my computer is running slow, just as me. Just as me. All right. So, guys, on the chat, let me know if suddenly you stop listening to me or my screen just goes goes crazy or something. Okay. Okay. So this is Apple. So we have this 198.23 key level on the higher time frame. So let's use the 1 day. All right. So this is the daily chart for Apple. As you can see, this 198.23 has been used several times here on the daily chart. So this was a very huge key level. So because we broke and held below this key level here, I was tempted here. Well, actually here, this first retest, I was tempted to enter here, but this candle was just too strong. This candle was just too strong here. And like by the this candle closure, you were right at low of the day. So I say, well, I'm not taking any of this. But then after this, you had this second opportunity here. You had this second opportunity here. This is 9:48. So we are 15 minutes later on the market open after Tuesday, but it's actually like a Monday. It's the first day of the week. So you had your risk at the top of this candle, and you had your taking profit or your main target at low of the day. So this is a 1 to 2.25 risk reward ratio trade. And the thing is that again, if you were aiming to this, you should be trying to take the most of your contracts here. Why? Because what we're doing, the indices, well, they were going higher. They were actually reclaiming a high of the day on QQQ, and it was very close to high of the day on SPY. So just because this divergence between the indices and this tech name was going lower while the indices were going higher. So you had to sell your most of your position here at low of the day because this had to be a scalp. Why? Because it's going against the indices, so you were looking for the relative strength or the relative weakness. This was the relative weakness here. So if you take this trade here, based off the 1 minute opening range low, based on this opening price, based on this 198.23, you took this trade to the downside, right to the low of the day. This was a 1 to 2.25 risk reward rate to trade. So anyone took something here on Apple today? I want to go to the chat. Anyone took Apple today? No? Well, because let me tell you, I have the other side of this trade, right? The other side of this trade is probably when we came back here, we reclaimed this today's open, and we had this retest of the. Forget about the 1 minute opening range low. Forget about the 1 minute opening range low. Let's focus on this 198.23. You already watched why this one this 198.23 it's important. This is a multiple touches on the daily chart, multiple touches on the daily chart. So that's the importance here. So, hey, Neto, will you take this reclaim and retest of it? Well, probably not. Probably not. Why? Because this could go lower again, right? I mean, this could go lower again, but it held this 1 minute opening range. It came back again, and then it held better here. It held better here, this 188.23. And this is a trade I will take. This is a trade I will take. I'm not saying I take it, I took it, but this is a trade I will take. So where I will take it, so probably maybe like here on this candle here, on this second candle here, my risk will be the bottom of this candle, and my target will be high of the day. So we have this trade that actually work, this trade that actually work after this pullback, you may be afraid of it. But I mean, here, if you took some profits here, 190, 199 or something like that, or the opening range, I mean, this was the previous like local high. It was a 1 to 134 now. So probably you waited to here. This is the second opportunity for, this is a second chance for this trade. Or, I mean, or here. But I like here because of the context on the indices. Can you see here they were around this order block on the indices? Let me take it a little bit down here. I know today it looks smaller. I'm sorry about that. It's because of this laptop here. So as you can see here, it was having a good reaction on the on this order block here. So that's why I will say like, okay, well, this is a better place to enter here, or maybe even if you take like this here, like I mean, if you enter here, probably you will have your risk at the bottom of this previous candle here, and you will be stopped on this one. So, well, I mean, probably that was the better entry, right? So it was a 1 to 2.5 risk reward ratio trade if you took all the way to high of the day. And what happened later? Well, actually, Apple is just flying right now, right? It reclaimed the 200. It reclaimed the 200. So this trade probably went to 1 to 5. Uh, Let me go to the chat. This scouting corner pro scouting and player pin. Dude, we need a name for you. We need a name for you. This counting guy. All right. Did you take it? No, no, no. I, I barely take Apple trades. I don't like it. I know some of you guys like it. That's why we included this Apple ticker on this trade review. I usually don't take Apple. I don't trust Apple. Uh, but what I want you to see is how to spot these opportunities according to the correlation to the indices here, how the indices are moving, or just the intraday price action here. Okay, well, let's go to the next one. AMD. AMD was also another one that was flying hard. So what I was watching here, it's this break and retest of the 5 minute opening range. I really like this. And what was happening with the indices? Well, they were pushing higher, right? So after this break and retest, 5 minute opening range, 113.67. Let's go to this 113.67. What is this coming from? Okay. All right. So what this 113.67 was coming from past week, Tuesday past week, this consolidation area. It was used as resistance, then turned support on the aftermarket, support at the opening of the day, resistance later on the day. So this 113.67 was a nice was a nice key level on the 15-minute chart. That nice to meet you, Kevin. Nice to meet you, Kevin. All right. So let's say that okay, well, I like this break and retest of the 5 minute opening range, and it was above this key level here. So you had your risk maybe right here at the 5 minute opening range, and you were looking for this 114.47. So all just this was a 1 to 4.5 risk reward ratio trade. And that's awesome because it just took like 6 minutes or 10 minutes, less than that. And after that, I was looking for again this kind of pullback here. Indices kept pushing actually right here, right at this point, 10:15. Uh, QQQ was reclaiming pre-market high. Can you see here this line here? Uh, is your key level video coming today? No. Sorry, Hans. It's not. I already recorded it, but it's on my computer at home, so it's gonna be out for this weekend. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right. So, what do you think about an entry at 10? It's this one. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's valid, Alex. I mean, if you were taking, oh, sorry, if you were using this key level here, uh, I mean, the indices were pushing super high. Indices were pushing higher. They were pushing with a lot of strength. So if you took your trade here, I mean, the only thing that I don't like, Alex, is that you were almost high of the day, right? I mean, you were almost high of the day here. However, there was a lot of room to the pre-market high, and because the indices were pushing with a lot of strength, I mean, this is an aggressive entry, but yeah, I mean, I understand what you tried to do here. And the other one, no, this was just I was trying to do something here, but this actually didn't work. But what actually did work was this here. I mean, I know this was a pullback here, but once we have this, look at this. These are the new highs of the day, right? These are the new highs of the day. So if you took another long position somewhere around here and your risk was at the bottom of this order block here and you were aiming to this pre-market high, this was another 1 to 3 risk reward entry trade. What do you think about this? What do you think about this one? Anyone watch one of these trades here? Let me go to the chat. Um, Chris, did you take any trades today? Yes, I did. I did. I took a Tesla trade, very different than the one that the Jack took this morning. So you will see in a minute. You will see in a minute. All right. So anyone had a different entry than the one at the 10 a.m. That Alejandro had? That AMD was a nice trending name today. So yeah, and as you can see here, I mean, it went from 112 to 116 almost on a day. So that's huge for any name. That's huge for any name. That's like 4%. So that's a pretty huge move here. Amazon. I was looking for this Amazon trade. I like this previous day high retest, and I want to show you this on the 15-minute chart. All right. So we had retest of this previous day high, this previous day high, and look how nice it went from here. So after taking this previous day high, look at the nice reaction here. Indices were also coming back. Guys, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it on a laptop. I'm just grateful that I switched to a desktop. Uh, and I know there's a lot of you guys that actually do it on your phone, on your tablet, right? Amazing, guys. I just get used to a bigger screen. All right. So after we had this previous day high retest, I know on the pre-market it was kind of coming down, but you need to zoom out and look left, right? I mean, yes, it gap up on the pre-market, but I mean, this was the level that we wanted to help. So we held this previous day high. We held this previous day high. And then after this, you had this pullback, this baby pullbacks. But look at the indices. The indices were pushing higher and higher and higher. So this is the kind of context, guys, that you want for taking more aggressive entries. So I know that I usually tell you, okay, well, let's wait for the indices to take a direction, and then look for the names that are moving in the same direction, and then look for the relative strength or the relative weakness. But this is the kind of move that, according to the indices, they were reclaiming the today's open and very close to the 5 minute opening range. So if you have an entry somewhere around here, the opening price that it was above the previous day high, you can have this huge move to the upside. Later on the day, okay, well, I broke this 5 minute opening range here. Let me try to open this. And what was happening here on the indices? Well, they kept pushing higher, right? So if you took this trade here, this is a nice break and retest of the 5 minute opening range. If you take this, I don't know, like maybe there you had your risk at the bottom of these candles here, and you were looking for high of the day was at 1 to 2.5, but what about pre-market high? Well, this was a 1 to 3.7 risk reward ratio trade. And even that, look at this. There was no single candle closing beyond your stop loss. I know these weeks are scary. I know these weeks are scary, but you have like one chance here to take profits, one other chance here to take profits at 1 to 3 reward ratio trade. So you have two different opportunities to trim your position. So if you manage to stay on this trade, look at the reward here, right? It went first to this 205.76 key level on the daily chart. That's a 1 to 6 risk reward. Later in the day, well, I mean, I know this is just too much, but if you manage to stay on this trade here, that was an awesome trade. And if you were, I'm moving the indices here. I'm moving the indices here. On this second retest, can you see here, guys? Can you see here this trade? I mean, if you enter here, this was kind of the same spot reject. I mean, QQQ, the break and retest of pre-market high. SPY, break and retest of this order block from the previous high of the day. And here it was a nice hold of this 5 minute opening range. So if you open your trade here, your risk was at the bottom of these candles here. and you were aiming to high of the day, again, 1 to 3 risk reward rate to trade, and the next levels were easier to hold, right? Easier to hold. So Amazon, we had different opportunities here to enter on the long positions. Anyone took Amazon trades today? Uh, Sabrina, love the insights on Amazon. Thank you. Chris, would you say the Amazon trade is a high probability trade? Isn't it reversal trading rather? No, no, no. It's not reversal. I was explaining you, Chris, that if you zoom out and look left, this is not reversal at all. I mean, this is actually kind of continuation from the previous day high. So previous day high. What that reversal will be? Something like this. I mean, if it came all the way to this 205.76 and it reverses from here, that's a reversal trade. That's a reversal trade. But here, I mean, remember that sometimes if I take out, look at this. If I take out the extended hours, this is kind of a, the next candle here. This is Friday and this is today. It's not a reversal at all. It's actually a continuation of this move, right? Uh, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to pronounce that name. Picha? No, well, I don't know. I need your help, buddy. I need your help. So, where did you take your trade? It would be awesome if you can share your entry level, what your risk was, and where you take profits, or what was your target for this trade. That's usually how we do it here. So again, we try to spot the best key levels for reactions and entering the trade. And we define kind of the risk here and aiming for the next key levels. So I'm gonna give a few seconds for our friend Picha Pigna. I don't know that's not even my alphabet. But welcome to Trade Review, Roslan. All right. So 1026, 104.68, 1026, 1026. Yeah, well that's an amazing trade. Yeah, that was the one that we set first here. So you entered 1026, your risk should be at the bottom of these candles here, and you should be aiming for this pre-market high. And if you manage to trim your position here and you manage to stay on this trade, I mean you had a huge reward. For Amazon, would you think 1142, it's a valid entry? 1142. Yes, I do think that it's a valid entry. Again, context. Can you see what's going on the indices? Indices are uh, recovering from this baby pullback here. And what was happening here on Amazon? Well, it was a nice break and retest of pre-market high. 1142. Yeah, you say 1142. Yes, 1142. So this is a nice break and retest of 1142. So let's play with this long position tool. So 1142. Let's assume that you took your trade here. You were, oh, your risk was at the bottom of that candle, and you should be aiming to maybe 206. Yeah, let's look for a round number here. Yeah, 206 was a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio trade, and you actually got it like in a few minutes, right? So this is a nice trade. Why? Because also the indices kept pushing higher, right? It's the context that it's helping you because after this huge move, I wouldn't think that Amazon is gonna move too much later, but indices were still pushing higher. Uh, it's not in my playbook taking trades after 11 yeah 11 in the morning, but this was looking very good. I mean, market structure was intact here. Indices were pushing higher, so this was a very nice trade. Just because this, right? It was a nice break and retest of the pre-market high. Context was the indices pushing higher, and this still had a lot of momentum. So this was a very nice trade. Not sure what was your target here. Uh, when we have such a big move, when do you decide to no longer be interested? Is it when you have reached the ATR? Yeah, the ATR. That's a very interesting concept. I really like it. I don't call it ATR. When I learned that, I learned the implied move. But it's kind of the same thing. And the implied move or the ATR, the true range, average true range. It's for example, you take Amazon and you take kind of an average of how many points it moves on average for a day, right? So if you start at 200 and the daily average is only like 2%, well, that's just 4 points, right? So after reaching 204, you kind of I mean, it's not like you just discard the sticker because I mean, if it's looking very strong, I mean, it's just an average, right? It's just an implied move, but it can still go higher. So there's a few names that's something that you need to start learning about your ticker. Okay, so on a regular day, how many points it move? And once you start identifying that, you will see during the day that if you already reach that amount of points, sometimes it just slow down. And the reason behind that it's because even the big players they are looking for small but consistent steps on the price moves. So I mean, a hedge fund is not looking for a 15 points on Amazon on a day, right? They are looking maybe for these 2 3 points. Uh, when is it clouds as being overextended? Neto, could you please show us how to find the average for a name? That's a whole process. You need to understand the IV for a name, and then you need to de-annualize the IV for your name. Yeah, it's a whole process. It's not something like okay, well, just bring out your calculator. It takes some technical. I don't do it. I don't do it, Chris. For being honest, I mean, I don't do it. It's more like a feeling. It's like, for example, I don't know if you like Amazon. I mean, you start identifying how many points it moves over the past days, and the average true range or the implied move, it's more than an average of the year. But if you want to have a better feeling of your tech name, probably you could just go back, I don't know, like a few weeks back, and you start looking how many points it moves every day. That could help you there. Right, guys, let's go to the next one. Nvidia. I'm not even looking at Nvidia because they have earnings today. Uh, yeah, they have earnings today. Is it today? Tomorrow? All right. Yeah, Nvidia have earnings tomorrow, so I'm not looking at Nvidia this week. I'm not looking at Nvidia this week, but I mean, visually you can have this 5 minute opening range. It's a very small displacement here, but both both but both indices were pushing higher. QQQ was reacting on pre-market high, and SPY, what was SPY reacting out of? Uh, Well, I don't see any key level for SPY right there. I mean, 587 just because it's a round number, strike number. But QQQ was bouncing out from the pre-market high. So this could be a nice move here. If you were taking any of these bounces here, let's say, probably I like I like this one. I mean, it it's probably a coincidence, but that's the reaction on the indices. So if you had your risk at the bottom of these candles and you were aiming to, let's say, 135.50, 135.50 here. Yeah, well, that's a 1 to 3.25 risk reward rate to trade. Let's see what happened on pre-market high. Well, pre-market high was 1 to 1.6. Yeah, but if you went all the way to 135.50, that's a a a very reachable number here. That's a 1 to 3.3 risk reward right here. 1 to 3 was 135.40. Well, that's very close. That's very close to 135.50. So that will be the only the only one unless you take this, yeah, well, this was having a nice reaction on the indices, but this is kind of late on the day. Yeah, it's 11:40, so I don't like it. Let me go to the chat again. There are some indicators that can help with that as well, with the average range. Yeah, I mean, yeah, probably. If you go to trading view tools, there should be something that show you the average range. Sabrina, you know a question. How do you know which news not to trade? We know earnings, FOMC. Well, you know what? I try to stick to orange and red folder news and earnings, and that's it. Or like Trump meeting with the European Union delegate, or Trump meeting with Putin, or something big like that, right? Uh, Today we have an FOMC member speak at 10:10. Will that be a concern to you? Well, it depends. I don't remember that was a red folder news. Uh, Give me 1 second. I'm going to. I actually posted yesterday. It was an orange folder news. So usually, usually I'm waiting for the 10 in the morning candle. This candle here. And after that, I mean, it was 10:10. Look at this. I mean, it did nothing. It did nothing. So, it's 10 p.m. Yeah, that's true. Why 10 p.m.? I don't know. Yeah, well, that's why nothing happened here. But usually, I mean, the FOMC members, or like the Fed members, other than Jerome Powell, they don't usually move the market. It needs to be a very, very, very political statement for moving the market. I will try to pay more attention to red folder news. And again, just depending on what tickers are you using. But for example, market sentiment is one of the tickers that move a lot, like Amazon, Apple, the more Tesla, maybe more like the consumer names instead of the super technology names. So again, that's kind of a mix of technical analysis and fundamental analysis. But that's why you need to be just aware of the news times. All right. So Nvidia, well, just as we were talking, Nvidia, I'm not looking Nvidia for the week after. I'm just waiting for after earnings. I have shares here, so I'm kind of biased. Let's go to the next one. Tesla. Tesla was a very nice trade here. So what the guys did on Tesla this morning? They were well. Let me go to the 15-minute chart. Okay. Yeah. So I have this white area here that has been a strong uh support resistant supply demand key area. So we were all waiting for Tesla to actually break this 350 key level and hold, right? So right here, this is three 349.80. 349.80 was pre-market high. So that was pretty much our key level of the 350, right? So we were all waiting for this. So when we had this 938 candle, you had your risk at the bottom of these candles here, and you were not aiming for high of the day. You were aiming for 355 at least. You were aiming for 355 at least. So if you enter on this trade, you at least had 1 to 4 risk reward ratio trade. If you chicken out here on this high of the day consolidation, I mean, you were not looking at this chart. You were not looking at the higher time frame. And you know what I say every day? Zoom out, look left, guys. I mean, don't get too stressed into the 1 minute chart. You need to zoom out and look left. So if you were looking at this chart here, if you were looking at this chart here with the 15-minute chart or the 15-minute time frame, you were looking that it was holding nicely here, the 5 minute, the 15 minute, the 1 hour, all of the time frames were aligned, were in line with this bullish move. So you were supposed to hold at least 355, at least. And why 355? Well, because it was a key level on the daily chart. This was the previous high here, right? And now after this 355, well, you have two different options. You were looking for the end of this consolidation area here, that it was 359, that you actually got it here, and then the next external liquidity level here. So this is the trade I took. It's it's right here. So because I was looking at this higher time frame chart, because I was looking at this higher time frame chart, I had this. This was to 354.50. Yeah, here 354.50. So because I was looking at this higher time frame chart, I decided to take this trade here. The reason of this trade here was because we already reclaimed this 355. We were holding 355, and indices were at high of the day, but they still have a lot of steam. If you see the candles here, they still have a lot of steam. So after these candles here on this 355, I took this trade here. It went up a little bit, then it came back, this 355. It held, it was struggling there, and then boom, it came all the way. So I trimmed my first contracts here, 360, and it was a yeah, almost a 1 to 2 risk reward rate to trade. And then I took out most of my position here at this external liquidity level. This was a 1 to 3.12 risk reward rate to trade, and I'm still holding like three runners or something. I took the 360 calls. They were like 7.5 every contract around here. So they were expensive, but I just took a few contracts. And that was my Tesla trade. I know it's super different than the one that took the community this morning, but I still got a good bunch of it right here on the whole of this 355. Um, I don't think it's gonna hit 367 today, but I mean, it's Tuesday, so I'm holding this for some maybe overnight. Uh, Alex, I entered 10:12 candle close. It's the 10:12. 10:12. I like it. I really like this. I really like this, Alex. And look, for example, if you enter here, this is 10:12. All right. You enter here. Look at this. You enter here, candle close. Your risk, Alex, will be the bottom of these ones, right? Can you see how none of these candles close below your risk, your stop loss? None of them. If you manage to stay here, where did you exit? Where did you stop? Ah, you had a tighter risk. Okay. Well, but do you understand why this should be your risk and not this? Well, I mean, this is the bottom of your candle, right? This should be your risk because this is the level, this is the candle that broke this 355, and so that was kind of the like that was the risk that you should have. Um, how many contracts did you take, Neto? I took 12 contracts of these Tesla 360 calls, and I only have like three. I only have three. Yes. Um, Canton, miss that Tesla, not work, and then yeah, no, brother. I mean, options and work, they are not good friends. They are not good friends. You are doing great. I mean, if you have time to focus on trading, if you have time to manage your trades, that's the right thing to do. If you don't have 100% of your attention, don't do options, or just avoid to do options during your busy time. All right. Okay, let's go to the next one. Microsoft. So what do we have here? Microsoft, we have, guys, I'm hating this laptop. It's just too small. And also, I don't have a mouse. I'm using this the mouse track. Yeah, not enjoying it. All right. So we have, okay, again, look at Microsoft here. I want you to look at this. Okay, so this is the previous day high. We have pre-market here. It was, climbing the ladder here. So we had this 457.50. This 457.50 was resistance, resistance, resistance. So once you broke one 457.50, you were expecting to hold this, right? This 457.50, 457.50. And what do you think is going to happen here? Once it held 457.50, well, I guess it's going to take this 460 or maybe this 461. But I mean, if you were waiting for I'm sorry, guys. If you were waiting for this to hold, well, I mean, anywhere here, look, even here. If you took this pre-market high retest, your risk it's still at the bottom of these candles. So here you are supposed to be alive still. Look, just at this key level, this 458.60, it's a 1 to 3 risk reward. High of the day, oh, we still 459.50, it's a 1 to 514, but we still have not reached 455.50. But anyways, I mean, you already took partials here. It was at least, look, if you took partials here at this key level, it was a 1 to 3 reward ratio trade. If you were holding some of your position here, it's a one. This 459, 1 to 4 risk reward ratio trade. So this is when you start playing with your key levels, right? 459, it's a round number, side number. So and also it's a 1 to 4 risk reward ratio trade. So this was an amazing trade. Um, you're doing good. I will be able to do this on a laptop for a single minute. I know. I know. You know what? I mean, I already got a mouse, but it doesn't have battery yet. So but tomorrow is gonna be easier. So, yeah. Thank you for your patience, guys. All right. So that was Microsoft. I didn't prepare anything for Meta, so I'm gonna skip Meta. Palantir has been super weak today. It has been super weak today. It was against the trend of the indices. So anything that you took on this break and retest of the 5 minute opening range, and then the this external liquidity, that's the previous day low. But let's assume that you took a trade like here, right? You had your risk, let's say, to the 1 minute opening range, and you were looking for low of the day here. That's a 1 to 3 risk reward ratio trade. But look at this. I mean, once you reclaim this 124.62, next level was this 123.33. It's a key level on the 15-minute chart. And look at this. This was a 1 to 5.8 risk reward ratio trade, and it actually tries to reach previous day low. So Palantir has been against the indices trend today, showing relative weakness. Anyone took a Palantir trade today? Neto, was there any reason you didn't take the pre-market high retest and key level on Tesla today? Let me go back. Um, where is it? This one. Look at what time it was. 9:37. And Chris, you know my rules. I wait at least 10 minutes from market open. And usually the first day and the last day of the week, I mean Mondays and Fridays, but this week, Tuesday and Friday, I'm waiting a little bit more. That's why I was trying to be more patient. And you know, uh, this small change of waiting uh, for the trend to show up has saved me a lot, guys. I mean, this Tesla trade, I mean, right now it's working, but I've seen too many times that they are still on the 5 minute opening. I mean, the whole last week, it was the indices were inside of the 5 minute opening range for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. So I don't want to get stuck into the chop. So that's why I'm waiting for at least 10 to 15 minutes for a trend or clear direction on the indices. And this just happened too soon too soon in the morning. I know. This 350 was super obvious, but I prefer to wait. And well, I did have an A plus setup later on the day. So I mean I don't have any regrets today. But you know, I mean that's the reason why I didn't take that Tesla trade. Okay, so that was Palantir. Let's go to Google. Google has been recovering nicely. And I was trying to look at some of these entries here. As you can see, we have a few break and retests of order blocks. And I was waiting for something like this. This is the break and retest of the 5 minute opening range. It never came, but this other order block actually had a nice retest here. What was happening on the indices? Indices were pushing higher. It's right here. This 10:05, they were pushing higher. They were flagging after this 10 a.m. candle here. 10 a.m. candle. Oh, 10 a.m. candle. So this is another chance that you could take a Google your risk at the bottom of this candle here, and yeah, and you should be aiming to next key levels here. This is a 1 to 2.6 risk reward ratio trade, and that was pre-market high. Yeah, that was pre-market high, and then it reversed. Yeah, well, it's trying to recover, but then it reversed. So let's go to the chat. Guys, those are all the names that I have for you today. Again, thank you for joining. I'm trying my best with this laptop and this setup here. I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you understand what I'm trying to explain you about how to spot good opportunities here. So remember, if you have a question, I received a question on the community these past days. Someone that, hey Neto, I had a question, but it was in Spanish, and I was afraid to ask. Guys, shoot all of your questions here. I speak fluently, obviously Spanish, English. I have some knowledge of French and Italian, so try me, guys. So, all right. So, thank you very much for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget like and subscribe, guys, especially for all the new guys, Russian guys. Thank you for joining. So, thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.